Hey, Joe here. I hope you are well. Welcome. I hope you had a fantastic day. The focus of this video is to do a part 2 of the video I made entitled How I Escaped the UK to Ghana. Now, thank you very much for those who watched that video. I hope you got some value out of it. So I thought I'd make a part 2 because I think it's incomplete and I want to make an apology. The reason why I want to make an apology is because sometimes when you're watching a video like that, the story is squeezed into like a 15-minute video, and it might feel that all it takes to succeed in life is you just make one decision, you don't have any road bumps, and you just succeed and start making a lot of money. It does not work that way. And I think sometimes when you are sharing a story on YouTube, if it can, because I watched the video back and I'm thinking, wait a minute, it might seem easy, because when I talk about the fact that, because let me recap the video. In the video, basically I talk about, by the way, my name is Joe. Let me introduce myself just in case this is your first time watching this video, being introduced to myself. My name is Joe Jaman, born and raised in Ghana till the age of 10, and then my mother came to take my brother and I to the UK to give us better opportunities in terms of education, so that one day we can obviously come back to the motherland and then help to build, invest, and all that. So and I guess that's why we all send our children, or they send us to the UK. So and by the way, just in case you're coming to Ghana, anytime soon, we have some fantastic Airbnb short stay apartments. We have one stupendous view of the ocean, fantastic view of the beach, right, overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. So book that. I've got 2 studios there, spacious studios, and we have about 6 apartments in town. That one is more closer to places like, well, it's situated in Mataico, so it's like 10 minutes drive to Cantonment and Osu and all that places, so it's very central. But anyway, like, just recapping the video I made, the first video on how I escaped the UK, from the UK to Ghana. So in the video I talked about how I made a decision, because after being back, or after being taken to the UK, the first time I came back I was 17, right? And coming back being 17, I that nostalgia feeling I had growing up in Ghana overtook me, and I knew I had to come back one day. So I went back to the UK to continue my studies, and then it was always at the back of mind that one day I want to retire in Ghana or move to Ghana, start building businesses in Ghana. So, but then I needed a vehicle. I needed to go through a process where, because I didn't want just to come to Ghana and go and live in our extended family's house, right? I want to have my own abode that I will also raise my family in, right? So I wanted to build a house or buy a house. So, and I did a calculation that if I continue to work where I am, I won't be able to, if I'll be able to buy a house or build a house, I'll be in my 50s, and it didn't sound good to me. I wanted to do it sooner, right? I don't want to be that old, like maybe my parents and all that. So I identified opportunity with, because I knew I needed to do something with a commission, because when you are being paid commission, you get more for your money. And in recruitment, the vehicle I chose is 100% commission. You're not being paid a salary. So if you do not kill, if you do not make a placement, because I'm the owner, it's not like I've gotten a job at another recruitment company and they're paying me a salary and then I get commission. No, I am the one actually starting it. So everything's on me. And I had 2 daughters and a wife who wasn't working at the time, but I still made the decision, because the reason I didn't want my wife, we chose that she would focus more on the kids, and well, she was working a part-time job but not full-time, because I wanted to focus had to focus on the kids and why I focused on work, and that worked out. So I left my job, and when I say even I left my job in the first video, it sounds like too rushed. Even that took a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of thinking, a lot of fear to make that decision. I went through a process of feeling scared because I'm just thinking, if I leave my job, and even though I had made 2 placements, and that encouraged me to start thinking about leaving my job. Even going through that process was not easy because I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm the only breadwinner. I've got 2 daughters. What if it doesn't work out? If it doesn't work out, can I come back into my industry? So all these thoughts, all these fear, all these anxieties coming up, right? But I realized that, hey Joe, if you don't make that decision now, if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? Now is the time. So I finally took the jump, went in. I think maybe the first placement went well, but then after that, and then the reality hit in, because when I attempted to make my next few placements, all of them declined, all of them fall flat. So imagine that you are calculating in your head that, I've sent these candidates to interviews and they are getting good feedback from the company. So already you are thinking about the money. The company likes this one, the company is so, and I had 3 candidates out for interviews. I think 2 of them turned it down, and 2 of them, the company turned them down for the second round, and the one they offered, one of my candidates a job, and she turned it down. And then after that, I got a couple of declines from candidates after they be offered the job, and I wasn't prepared. I wasn't aware that if a candidate was to get a job from one of my clients and the candidate didn't like it for some reason, right? Had to pause it because I was getting a call while I was making this video. So like I was saying, I had no idea that you can work, finding a candidate takes work, preparing their CVs, preparing them for the interview, sending them to the interview, collecting feedback from the company, collecting the candidate's feedback, sending them for a second interview, and sometimes even a third interview. Sometimes they might have to take a test. All that, and then either the client turns the candidate down, or they offer the job to the candidate and the candidate turns the job down. What really hurts is when you work so hard on a candidate, you send them to the last interview, final interview, maybe they are in the finals other thing, and they turn the person down, or the person does get a job and the person turned it down. And I wasn't mentally prepared for that. So when the first few times that happened to me, especially in the role, I started doubting myself. I started having fear, thinking, oh my God, I made the wrong decision. I'm going to starve. Oh my God, what did I do? I have 2 daughters. Why did I do that? Why didn't I stay in my good, well-paying job? I could have just, stayed in that job and even build up to get 100K in salary. Why did I leave that? I started getting all these thoughts, right? I started to get all these thoughts, and it's not easy. Because when I was looking back at the video, I'm thinking I did this, and then I bought a house and I do that, and I'm watching myself thinking, nah, you didn't really talk about the fear, the time that you hesitated, the time that when nobody could see what you were going through mentally, your mental health, the stress, sleepless nights, all these things were part of the process. And I needed that, right? I needed that because I needed to be put through the fire, right? Because even they say gold has to go through fire to be refined, right? And they say pressure creates diamonds. And before fruit can come up from the ground, the fruit must first be buried in the ground, and it must die before it germinates and pops up. So I knew I was being buried when I left my job and, on the quest of, trying to increase my income, increase my savings so that one day I could buy a house. We could have a house, our own house, a place to call our home here in Ghana, right? So, but it wasn't easy. It was, and I'm sure your journey, I feel the need to share this with you because it's not going to be easy. Unless maybe, obviously, you are, a trader, you are someone who is brilliant, you are, I don't know. Because me, I know I didn't have it easy in life. I started, if you must know, one of the challenges I had, I could not read till the age of 14. I could not read till the age of 14. I was raised by my grandmother, and my grandmother wasn't educated. My brother could read, but I was kind of, spoiled in the last born. So I started reading from the age of 10. My mother was a powerful woman, used to discipline me fantastic, So from the age of 14, that's when I actually started reading. So I failed. I had a lot of failure in my life, but I did not give up. My mother was very encouraging in that part, always telling me, Joe, don't give up, don't quit, don't give up, don't quit. Like I said, Mom was always telling me, don't quit, just keep going. So, and that's what I did. So I've had a lot of challenges from not knowing how to read, started reading late, being disciplined for it, having shit grades, crap grades in my GCSEs, but not giving up, still moving forward, doing my A levels. I couldn't even do it live. I had to do other courses to be able to make up for A levels, and then finally doing a HND and then topping up to a degree. So I didn't have it easy, but I never gave up. And I'm saying that to say this, that your journey, the goal, if it's your goal to move back to the motherland or do anything fantastic, do something that's going to give you pleasure, give you juice, give you passion, it's going to take a lot of sacrifice, a lot of pain, a lot of sleepless nights. Because watching that first video back, I'm thinking I cringe a little bit because it sounded a bit too easy. I forgot to leave out when I was working on myself and dealing with all these stress and fear and all that kind of stuff. So I say that to say this because you're going to be, you are probably dealing with those kind of things. You are probably dealing with those kind of things, right? And it's not easy. But in those times, what do? How do you focus yourself? Well, what I do is I surround myself with positive messages. I try to surround myself with positive messages. That's what got me through. That's what pushed me through. Every time I had a disappointment, I'll write down my goal. At the time I was reading Grant Cardone, the 10X rule. And in that book, he mentions that he writes his goals at least 3 times a day. When he wakes up and when he goes to bed, and any time that he feels disappointed or rejected, or maybe he has received the bad news, he will write down his goal again. So I did that, and anytime I had the bad news and I feel like I was getting too pressure, I would just put on like Les Brown or listen to Jim Rohn or listen to something positive, and I'll go for like 15 minutes walk, come back and go again. So it's like you have to have like a process for the times when you're going to be feeling down, because those down times are going to come. And even moving to Ghana right now, I'm in Ghana, it doesn't mean it's like hallelujah, everything is perfect. Because think about it, when you are a baby or when you observe a baby, the baby starts with what? Crawling, right? And when the baby, and if it's hard, sometimes the baby can't crawl properly, right? They'll be lying on their belly trying to crawl, right? And they'll be moving like a worm before they actually get on his knees, on the baby's knees, before it starts to crawl properly. And sometimes you can see they'll be crawling really, really fast, and they will graduate to trying to stand. And then they will stand, and then they'll be, wobbling, and then sometimes they will, go back down. And then before you know it, they will try to take a step, and they'll fall down. They'll take 2 steps. And then when they will start walking, hallelujah. and then they will start to try to run, and they encounter challenges there. And then when after they can walk and they can run, there are still challenges. It's not like the challenges never it stops, but they're gonna have like TV and all these problems, right? You are trying to get them to not to wet the bed, helping them to feed, helping them to bath. It goes on and on, all the way through your studies to your uni. When you start working, you're gonna have challenges, right? And the reason why I really wanted to help those graduates that I left out in the first video was that when I finally graduated trying to get a job, it took me like 2 years. It took me 2 years of trying to get a job before I finally landed a job that related to it, like a graduate job. I didn't want just to be working at Tesco's. I'm not saying working at Tesco's is bad. I didn't want to do my degree, pass, because I passed with second class, first is it it's 2-1, sorry, 2-1, right? And I didn't want after achieving and then going back doing like a normal job working at Tesco's or something. There's nothing wrong with working at Tesco's, but I just wanted a graduate level job, right? So it took me a long time interviewing, being turned down, interviewing, being turned down, interviewing, being turned down. To this day, I still have like a lot of envelopes of letters of me writing to companies and then receiving back a rejection letter. To this day, I still have some. Every now and then, I take it out and remind myself, right? So it's not easy. So when I saw those graduates being turned down by my company, it really struck a chord in me, and I wanted to help them. And I did not know helping them would lead me to find something called recruitment. And that's the other thing. Sometimes I think it's good to try and help people with what you already have, because you don't know that thing could lead to something, right? So watching that video, the first video I made, I feel like I left the struggle out, right? And I think one of the books I mentioned, but I forgot to mention the title, that really helped me in my recruitment journey was the Real Deal by James Caan. I mentioned that the author was James Caan, but I forgot the title. In case you were wondering, the title of the book is called The Real Deal. Now, when I started the recruitment, I had so many challenges. One of the challenges I mentioned was actually the first challenge I had was trying to find clients, getting new clients. It took me a while before I could get clients. It took me a long time before I finally started learning the art of getting clients. And while I wasn't getting clients, I was being knocked back, not being turned down left, right, and center. Because imagine leaving your job with 2 kids to feed, right? And you are calling all these clients and they say no, 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 no. Imagine how you would feel knowing that you also left a good job. I mean, my job, when I left my job, I was getting 70K plus 10% bonus. And I could have gone to other jobs and made me get 80K or even 100K. And imagine leaving that opportunity on the table and saying, I'm going to do a job that they won't pay you a salary, it's 100% commission. It is crazy. But I knew that if I don't do that, then I won't be able to get what I want at the age that I want to achieve it by. So that's what I had to do. But it came with a lot of suffering. It came with a lot of headache, right? So even the book I told you about, the James Caan book, after reading it, and I'm thinking, wow. Applying it, or I was even scared because some of the things in that book were so good, I was scared to apply it for some reason. It took me a while after reading, I'm thinking, oh, I don't know, do I have confidence to apply this? Do I have confidence to engage clients in this way? What if I engage the clients this way? And then, because, for example, the book talks about talking to the client, letting them know that you have what they're looking for, right? Let the client know that you have exactly what they're looking for. Even though you don't have it, just let the client know that you have what they're looking for. And then once they say yes to you, and then you go and look for what they're looking for and come and give it to them. And I wasn't comfortable about doing that because I felt like I'm lying to them or something like that. Do you understand? So, but then later, it worked. I used it. I wasn't lying. It's not like I was lying. I actually went and found what they're looking for. But I had to have the confidence. It was more of a confidence thing. It wasn't that the fact that I was lying. It's let the clients know that you do have it, but then go and find it. You get it? So it's like you're committing yourself to the thing, right? So it's not easy. Being in Ghana is not easy because it's not like I'm in Ghana and everything 100% is working out. Just like the analogy that I gave you with a baby trying to crawl, trying to walk, trying to run, trying to do everything. At every stage, you're going to have challenges, you're going to have obstacles. So in Ghana, when you come to Ghana, you're going to have challenges. When you're in the UK, you're going to have challenges. Right now, I'm hearing that they have this, digital ID. When you read on the news that people don't want to subscribe to. And a lot of people are feeling, a lot of uncertainty. People are a bit fearful about that. Invading their privacy and all that kind of stuff. Being tracked. People don't want to be tracked. Right? So people are thinking about, moving out. Right? But I know just because I left the UK, and I'm not saying the UK is bad. The UK has given me a lot of opportunities. It's given me a lot of opportunities to be who I am today. I don't knock that. I don't take that lightly. But I had to work for it. But I knew, for me personally, I like fantastic weather. I like consistent weather, right? For example, right now in the UK, what's happening right now? Right now you have longer nights, shorter days. You wake up, sometimes you won't see the light of day till 7 o'clock, right? I'm not a fan of that. And so it gets dark like around 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, 4:30 is already dark, right? It does something to my mood, right? I like consistency in weather. So it doesn't mean that just because I'm in Ghana right now, there is all rainbows. But in life, you have to make a decision about what you want. What's your preference in life? If you want to stay in the UK, stay in the UK. If you want to go to the Bahamas and live, go there. If you have a goal to go to the motherland, go there. If you are happy where you are, stay there. Nobody's gonna fight you. Who's gonna do what? But if you want to move back to your motherland, then there are things you need money. You need money to be able to achieve that, and you need to have a plan. And it's going to take a lot of pain. So even right now, as I'm in the middle of building investments here in Ghana, it's painful. And I'm not going to shy away and let you know, oh, I'm here, so happy. And no, you have to still die. You have to go through that process on another level, right? You have to go through that process on another level. Those people who are already, maybe you might have a business in Ghana, you will know what I'm talking about. You know it's not easy. You have to deal with different types of challenges, right? So, anyway, I think I talked for a long time. I don't want to keep this one too long. I was already talking for about over 20 minutes now. But if you are here, please like, subscribe, comment. According to Google, 90% of you, which is only 1 in 10 people who watches it subscribes, right? So 90% of you do not subscribe. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, right? And join the family. And after hitting that subscribe button, please leave me a comment saying, Joe, I've subscribed, right? And I'll respond to you. So I really appreciate your time. If you are coming to Ghana anytime soon, especially this Christmas, like I said, we have fantastic short stay apartments, Airbnb, right? Book it. So yeah, I would love to host you. So thank you so much for listening. I'll leave the rest in the next episode. So take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening, your day, or wherever you are. Stay blessed.